Right now, millions of players across the world are trapped in the exact same psychological loop. You know the feeling. You're sitting up at your desk or scrolling through your phone, and the sudden, overwhelming urge to play Minecraft hits your chest. It's an intoxicating wave of nostalgia. You instantly relate squad, jump on Discord, boot up a fresh world template, and for the first 72 hours is the most dopamine-fueled experience on earth. You're pushing tree, laughing with your friends, and building a temporary base. But 10 days 14 hits. The server goes silent. Your friends stop logging on. The Word file sits completely abandoned on your hard drive, never to be opened again. You didn't just get bored, you fell victim to an actual gaming epidemic, the 2-week Minecraft phase. But why those things happen every time? The diagnostic is simple. We fail to say it in our worlds because we fundamentally misunderstand what a sandbox game is. We treat Minecraft like a linear roguelike RPG. We sprint forward through an invisible progression line, treating the Ender Dragon like a final boss, finishing line instead of what it actually is, a starting gun. When you rush to the endgame gear, you strip the world of its survival tension, and when that tension dies, your motivation dies with it. But it doesn't have to be this way. I broke the loop. I have kept a single completely vanilla survivor world alive and thriving for over 3 consecutive years. Today, I'm giving you the complete psychological blueprint to cure your burnout, delete the urge to restart, and finally build a permanent digital legacy. Let's break the cycle. Tactic number 1 requires you to directly outsmart your own brain. Let's call it anti-Sisyphus rule. Sisyphus is the mythological figure cursed to roll a boulder up a hill, watch it roll back down, and restart for eternity. That's it. Every time you create a new world, your brain is a dopamine hunter. When you feel bored in your current world, your brain tells a comforting lie. If we start a fresh world, it will magically again. It won't. I will just give you a cheap temporary 3 days high before dropping you right back into the same burnout loop. Real long-term fulfillment is in a sandbox only comes when you cross the bridge of boredom and force yourself to look at existing terrain as raw potential. If you're bored, don't press new world, close the entire game, take a macro break for a week, and when the carving returns, force your character back into your existing world. The second reason you burn out after 2 weeks is because your playstyle is entirely predictable. If I look at your last 5 worlds, they would look identical. You build the same house style, gather the same resource packs, and automate the same basic crops. You are burning out because you're playing a fraction of the game. To survive long term, you must violently disturb your sandbox archetype. If you are a dedicated aesthetic builder, I want you to drop your building block, step away from the design tutorial, and force yourself to wire a massive complex multi-item automated sorting system using redstone, dust, and observers. If you are a pure technical player who lives inside the calculators and coordinate, step away from the farm design and force yourself to learn color gradient textures and structural detailing using terracotta and deep slate. Step into the contact you normally avoid, the frustration you feel. That is your brain building new neural connection with the game. Tactic 3 addresses the pacing of your world. You need to artificially deflate your progression speed. The absolute golden era of any Minecraft world is the early game. It's the period where you don't have any power. Mobs are generally dangerous. Navigating a cave requires absolute caution, and a single creeper drop can ruin your afternoon. Yet, what do? We speedrun out of it. We use hyper-optimized mining techniques or villager mechanics to acquire full diamond and netherite gear within the first weekend. By doing this, you are effectively paying to skip the best part of the experience. On my 3 years world, I banned myself from getting netherite for the first 6 months. I forced myself to live in the primitive iron and leather era. I let the world be dangerous, prolong the trade delay, the endure dragon fight as long as you harmlessly can, and suffer the struggle. Hyperfocus is a silent killer of motivation. When you decide to build on massive project like a giant castle and you do nothing else for 7 days straight, you are inviting burnout eventually. Placing the 10,000 stone brick feels like an actually manual labor job. To combat this, you must run a multi-project registry. Keep 3 to 5 completely different tasks active across your world at the exact same time and ensure they utilize entirely different gameplay loops. One should be a massive construction project, like a mountain fortress, for example. The second one should be purely technical, like a witch farm. The third should be an exploration task, like hunting down a maze inside a trial chamber. When your brain gets tired of placing bricks, you don't log off. You simply shift your character over to an exploration loop. By cycling your focus, you keep your brain constantly stimulated. Let's talk about layout. Tactic 5 is architectural deconstructionalization. Look at your typical base design. It's almost always a singular, massive base or worse, a subterranean bunker where you have a crammed your bed, your chest, your furnaces, your brewing stands, and your enchanted table into one or two dark rooms. It's highly efficient, yes, but efficiency is the absolute enemy of longevity. When everything is contained within an arm reach, your world feels tiny, closed in, and static. You need to be decentralized. Tear down the mega bunker and spread your utility blocks across the landscape. Build a dedicated independent wizard tower on a cliffside salty for your enchanting table. Build a rustic stone bakery down in the valley dedicated entirely food preparation and cooking furnaces. Construct a massive independent medieval warehouse on the shoreline for bulk storage. Force your character to physically walk along custom roads to get things done. These simple changes instantly transform your world from a single house into a living, breathing ecosystem. But what happens down the line when you run out of essential utility blocks to build around? This is where most long-term players fail. They say, I have every farm, I have every utility building, there is nothing left to build. This is where you must transition into establishing mechanical purpose or internal world lore. You don't need to construct a massive, highly detailed stone perimeters wall with structural watchtowers on every corner just to stop mob spawn. You could easily just spam torches across the grass or sleep through the night, but doing that is incredibly boring. By building the wall and the watchtowers, you give your character a defense purpose. You create a physical border for your kingdom. If you build a massive complex wooden flagship floating in a custom carved harbor bay, it serves no gameplay feature, but it creates the narrative layout that you base in an active trading port. Stop building for pure utility. Start building to tell a story about the world you inhabit. To keep going for months and years, you need a way to visualize your progress. Tactic 7 is a physical, in-game task board. Do not use an external notepad or an app on your second monitor. Keep the data inside the universe of your world. Build a grand physical wall of sign near your main spawn hub. Every single time a micro idea pops into your head, write it on a sign and slap it on the board. When you finally finish that project, walking up to the wall and physically breaking the sign post triggers a tangible visual dopamine hits the digital notes. Simply cannot replace. To elevate this, maintain a historical arching using a book and quill. Write down the name of every completed mega project. The data is what's finishing, and a short summary of the build over a long timeline. This book becomes an implaceable historical journal of your world evolution. Tactic 8 require you to shift your mentality from a simple survivalist to a master creator. Minecraft features hundreds of items that are completely aesthetic, serving absolutely zero functional utility. Yet, they are incredibly difficult to acquire. These are your long-term lifelines. Build a massive high-quality grand museum or trophy hall out of deep state and reinforced glass. Set definitive, uncompromising compliancy goal. Make it an active mission to venture into dangerous, distant biome to collect every single unique armor trim and push your short variant. Hand down every music disc, secure every rare mob head, and design a fully automated world zoo containing a live specimen of every single passive and hostile animal in the game's registry. Circuit forces you to explore the furthest reach of your seed, ensuring your map grows larger and more detailed with every passing mouth. But let's assume the absolute worst case scenario. Let's say you have applied every single tactic, but the burnout is absolute. The scenery of your base feels entirely staged, and you are searching in the game menu, desperately carving that fresh Day 1 survival feeling again. I'm here to tell you that you can have the exact feeling without erasing your history. Apply the ultimate emergency strategy, the in-world soft reset. Do not click delete. Walk into your main base, take off your netherite armor, strip away your tools, and dump every single block and item inside a secure chest. Grab a horse, and only a horse. No food, no weapons. Pick a random direction and ride 10,000 blocks away into completely unrendered fresh terrain. Drop down off your saddle and punch an oak tree from scratch. Enjoy the terrifying vulnerability of the early game all over again. Build a new house, discover new landscapes, and conquer a new region. Your past empire is gone. It's simply waiting out there across the horizon, ready for day. You are powerful enough to build a transcontinental highway to link your two eras together. At its core, Minecraft isn't a game you finish, it's an environment you inhabit. Stop throwing away your progress every 14 days. Pick up an old world save, apply these mental shifts, and build a digital legacy that lasts for years. Tell me your long-term survival stories in the comments below. Hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next footprint. Goodbye.